Welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at a new plugin that I think came out this week. It's been out before. It's called the Lift Off by ACQUA. Now, I love ACQUA plugins. They always sound pretty good, so this one has caught my attention. Also, it's by a mix mastering engineer called Luca Pretalese. I think that's how you say his name. So that tweaks my radar. It's an all-in-one. They did the Lift 1 and Lift 2. This is now the Lift 3 with a few other little saucy bits on it. So let's dive into the computer. Let's have a little look at it. Let's have a listen and see what we reckon. So this is the Studio DMI box. It's kind of supposed to represent their sound in their room. From the look of it, I can see that they use SPL desk, Masalek gear, kind of various stuff. So I guess this is kind of an accumulation of that sound across different things. Let's go into what it actually does. It's a kind of all-in-one unit. So you can have, there's a master version and a mix version, and I'm guessing the master version is a little bit more stepped, probably not as wide. You know, you've probably got +5 rather than +10, things like that. You've got an input and output, that's quite standard. There's a high pass and a low pass filter. There's saturation here. This is quite cool. As you click the saturation, it turns up, which is nice, so it's not too cluttered as an interface. That's really cool. And that's just 0 to 100 mix of how much you're mixing in. Now there's an EQ section here with the filters where you can select them across the top. Yeah, on this master version, it does +4 on a high shelf and +4 in the lows. You can see that obviously if you've got it to the left here, it's starting a bit lower down, probably about 1K. And then a little bit higher, you know, probably in the mids. And then this one here is kind of more of an air band. And then as you get down here, it's the same but in reverse. So this is like lifting a lot of the low end. And then as you get, it gets kind of lower as you go. So then you're just kind of lifting the subs if you're right to the left-hand side. Then in the center here, we've got a bypass button, which as I've played with this is a bit annoying because it kind of, you'll see in a minute, it kind of like stops the plugin. So what happens is it's very hard to hear a good A-B, but you'll hear what happens there in a minute. There's probably a technical reason for that, because I'm sure they would want it so that it clips straight in and out. Side amount, so this is a spreader. So with this, obviously the more you spread it out, the wider it gets, and then the more mono it gets when you're using it there. It's basically taking any signal that's in the sides and then pulling it out even further. That could probably get quite phasey. For me, I like a lot more kind of, I like to do this sort of thing on an EQ. I'll link above to a video where I talk about how to do this, but very handy to have that there. Just watch out for phase issues, things sounding a little bit too weird as you start using it too much. You can really overuse those kind of buttons. Then there's a compressor. Threshold obviously does what it does, makeup does what it does. Now I think this basically gets really aggressive when you get to 4, and they're preset attack and release time. So really you've got to, you know, it's quite gentle on the 1 and then starts getting quite full on with the 4. So this is going to be very much dependent on how much you're driving the compressor. It's also going to be down to the kind of sound that you want. So this is going to really dictate that. So this will be a kind of suck it and see thing where, okay, let's put loads of compressor in, play around with the threshold. You're going to find things that work for different tracks, and you can obviously turn that off there too. Then we get into this section again. This is like the saturation, where when you clip it on, a clipper appears. And so we have 4 different modes of clipper here. Again, similar to this mode section here. Different styles to the attack and release. So again, this is a blend, so you can mix in how much clipping you want to do. Now clippers is just going to be smoothing off the top rather than actually pulling the sound up as a limiter would do more. So that's kind of the blend there, so you can blend how much limiting, you know, clipping you're doing, sorry. There's also a mid button here. And so what that's doing is it's just clipping the mids. That can be quite a cool effect to use, so I like that. I think that I'll have a play with that and see how that sounds. I would have liked to have seen some kind of metering on the outputs. I don't know if this is what this is here. I'll have to play with it. This might be the in and the out. There's another button which I did forget nearly, which is this RTG. which is like a routing thing. So this is so that you can have the EQ before the compressor or the compressor before and saturation after that. So I haven't looked up what that does, but again, that's going to be using your ears. Which one do you like? 1, 2, 3 or 4? Because I've got a Dangerous Liaison which does a similar thing, so I can switch things around and reverse stuff, which is, I think, that Studio DM I have as well. So that's kind of emulating that, I guess, so that you can switch things before and after. You kind of usually have one setup that you use all the time, but it can be good just to have a quick flip and see how it sounds. So that could be really cool, just to, sometimes you do get different variants of sound, you know, by having a EQ after the compressor on some tracks. You can open up the sound a bit more on the top end, where it might have clamped it down a bit too much, you know, and then the same, you might want to drive some low end into the compressor. So that would be quite nice. So let's go into it. Let's have a play with the different sections, and then we can do a kind of general setup. So let's try and turn all this off so that we can just listen to the saturator first and the high and low pass. Let's see what they sound like. Let's get the saturator on. You can see it kind of jumps as you come in. It's actually quite nice. It goes a kind of more roundy, warmer sound. It's very subtle, so that's quite good. It's not just a massive over the top. I think this is this must be gain dependent. So they've obviously adjusted the gain as you're putting the saturation in, so that it doesn't fool you into adding just loads of level, and then suddenly you think it's better. So that's a nice touch that they've done there, because it feels to me like it's just bringing in some really nice harmonics. So that's pretty cool. I've played with the high and low pass. They're not massively dramatic, so I don't think they'll be worth us sort of playing with those. Won't waste your time on that. You know what they do. They're chopping the tops off and the bottoms, but they're quite a long slope, so it's not like it's really drastic. So they're just for kind of smoothing off. So let's just turn the saturator off. Let's listen to the EQ. I'll put it on the kind of more dramatic-y settings so that we can really hear what's going on. Okay, so the top end one, the high shelf, I think it's a little bit crispy. I'm not massively a fan of that, but the low end one was amazing. That sounded great. That could just be this track that's doing that. You might be able to use the airband on this quite nicely. But that low shelf was really cool. Where it was really wide, that just added a really nice warm sound to the low end. So I really like that. That's really nice low shelf. that's definitely worth looking at. Yeah, the high shelf, okay, but yeah, all right, I think. Let's listen to the stereo width, see what's happening there. Okay, so that's pretty cool. It's too much when it's on 100% there. I reckon around here. Now, this reminds me very much of the Masalek one where it spreads it like that. And I always like this in conjunction with an elliptical filter on the low end so that I could just be controlling the more, you know, where I wanted to control. I have much more control if I was monoing the bass and then spreading the tops. So if you're watching Acoustica and Luca, then yeah, if you can bang a elliptical filter on this for lift off 4, I reckon that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, I like that. That's pretty good. It's just be very careful with that because, like I say, you can go mental. But on a mix bus, it might work quite nicely. Yeah, so that's pretty nice. Okay, let's now try the compressor quickly. Let's go not too extreme. Open your eyes, let's get it done. Take my hand, just follow me. Shadow with me, I want. Yeah, that's quite nice. I like that. That's pretty good. I liked the number 1 there for some reason. I don't know what that's doing. I'm sure if you look in the manual, it'll tell you. 1 seemed better to me just for what I'd want to do with it, where I'm just sort of tickling it, just to glue it a little bit. Again, this would be quite good as a little extra if there was some kind of low pass filter on there, just to sort of lose the low end and just, you know, tuck in, or one that reversed that up so that you could just do the low end. That'd be nice. But I think we're getting into a few more features, too many features there. But that's I like that. That's pretty good. So I reckon that with that and the thing, yeah, it's all right. I'm liking this. This is pretty smart. Let's just try the clipper. And now you made it, but I already played this. Not interested. Open your eyes, let's get it done. Take my hand, just follow me. Shadow with me, I want. Okay, I like that. That sounds really good. It sounds really smooth, but it doesn't sound like it's clamping the sound down too much, which is quite nice. I'm getting level, but without really sort of pulling it down, which a lot of clippers can do. Let's just do it in mid mode. So this is just dealing with the mids. Let's see what's going on there. Okay, so that's excellent because it's just doing the mid rather than the sides. It's really good. It's a really nice idea. I like that a lot. It sounds super present then. It's really nice. It really is just sort of taming a lot that's going on there and leaving this to kind of do its thing. So like that a lot. Now, if you like this video a lot, then make sure that you click the thumbs up. Now, I'm going to play through the song. I'm going to mess around with it whilst I'm playing through so you can hear what's going on. And I'll keep A-Bing so that you can hear how it's sounding. But it's a big thumbs up for me. I like this. I don't usually like all-in-one plugins because they can be quite annoying because I wanted to have a bit more control. But I really like the low shelf. That was cool. I really like the compressor. That was nice, punchy. And I like this clipper with the mids. So and also saturation was good, wasn't it? So I'm going to play around with it a bit more, see how I can find it. Usually with these kind of things, shut the fuck up. Usually with these kind of things, you find one thing that works and then you kind of can use that for certain stuff. And it's kind of like you might have loads of tools, but there might be one or two things that are really useful. So yeah, I'm going to carry on having a play. It's just downloaded. It's on offer at the moment, I think, for $79. Is it $79? Yeah, $79 it is at the moment, rather than $149. 47% discount. So yeah, get that. You can go here to Acoustica Diamond Lift 3. So yeah, check that out. Let's have a play with it now.